Welcome to another episode of exactly how I'm scaling my new design agency from the ground up whilst traveling the world. Yesterday, unfortunately, being a digital nomad, caught up to myself and I actually got really ill with barley belly. Now this was expected to happen at some point. I don't know whether it was the water, the food, or even the bite that I had to go seen to at the emergency centre yesterday. One of those things probably caused it, but you live and you learn, eh? It's all part of the experience, as they say. On Monday, we started the brand identity for Volatile, which is a hair product company. And if you watch Monday's video, you'll know that today we are creating some illustrations for SOSA's new merchandise line, which should be released around November time. Now, I caught up with SOSA a couple of weeks ago. I'm pretty clear on the direction that he wants, so I'm going to create some drafts today, stay in touch with him throughout the day and try and refine the final version by the end of the day. I'm going to get started right away, do some sketches on Procreate using the iPad and using the Apple Pencil. This way I can refine it easier. I find when doing advanced sketches and illustrations, the iPad's a lot easier because you can scale things quicker and you can also erase things and make copies of things. So I'll come back when I've got the very first draft. The lips are nowhere near what they need to be, but this is the general idea that we're going for. So his brand's called Coco. He's got tour in Birmingham, Liverpool, Manchester and Newcastle. So we're going to do 4 variants for that. The idea is having things coming out of this triangle in quite a retro, vintage style, vintage colour palette, with the theme being very sexy, focused on lips, condoms, lollipops, stuff like that. So the next step now is going to take it to Illustrator and refine this until I'm happy with it. I'm going to start with creating a unique typography, because I'm not happy with this either, but I wanted to have a vintage, probably italic style as well. So let me jump over on there.
2 hours later.
Okay, so this is the initial direction that I've gone for. I've spent absolutely ages meticulously creating these tiny assets over here, shading them using the pencil tool and just creating a slightly lighter version. I've got lips. I've got some film layer with some image traces of him playing at events. I've created these custom pound notes, custom typography up here. We've done a lot, we have done a lot. Now I'm thinking it gives off more of too much of a Chicago vibe rather than a sexy vibe. So I think I'm actually gonna streamline this. I'm happy with the color palette. I really like the red, I really like the beige, and I really like the dark gray. I'm not happy with how this looks. Really like the street signs, I think they're a great addition. And I think collectively, as 4 individual releases, I think these will look really, really cool. However, I think the money, the bullets, and this condom needs to be changed. I think we need to completely scrap the money and the bullets, and we just need to make a more detailed condom, which is weird to say. But just have a quick look at the process of exactly how I created these bullets. Pretty much just got an image off Google, created some shapes, used the shape builder tool to put them together, changed the width here using the width tool, and then to create the shading, simply just went to the pencil tool, drawing a line over it and making it paler. So I'm going to further refine this now, and I'll update you again when we're at the next stage. This is where we're up to right now. I've updated the condoms, I've got rid of the cash, and I've also got rid of the bullets, and I've replaced the bullets for these lipsticks, and also replaced the cash for these cards. However, I'm still not sure if this is the right move. I think it needs to be streamlined. It's looking a bit too clustered now. And I think by making everything slightly bigger and stripping things back, I think that will create more of a clean illustration look. So when this is on print, you don't want things to be too small because it could get messy. So I'm thinking of also streamlining these film strips as well, because I simply don't know if they'll print well on t-shirts. But I'm happy with the shading that I've got. I'm happy with these signs and I'm happy with the typography. I just need to change the illustrations until I get it right. We will get there, we will get there. So here we're looking at the 3rd direction. I've created a messy pattern, which I like the look of. It's as if you've just got all of the letters into a big bowl, shuffled them up and spread them across this back triangle. I've stripped out all of the assets that I'd created, and I've gone for one with just lips and signs, and I'm gonna present them all, and I'm gonna see which is his favorite, because to be honest, I've been looking at this for so long now that I really can't decide. I need to get some fresh eyes, so I'm probably going to switch things up a little bit. For the next hour or so, I think I'm going to work on Jude's brand identity, which if you didn't watch yesterday's video, I definitely recommend you catch up there. I think for Jude's brand, this is going to be the first time that I experiment with creating brand guidelines on Framer. Now, usually I'd create the brand guidelines in a PDF document, However, by creating it on Framer, the advantage here is that I can create an interactive brand guidelines that's always live on a certain website and is also available for updates. So whenever I create any updates, I don't have to resend the PDF, things don't get lost in transit, etc., etc. And then if the client does actually purchase a domain, then it's really easy for them to send it over to anybody that they're working with. If you've been keeping up to date with the series, you'll know that I've mentioned Framer a few times, and that's because I've been really enjoying using it at the moment. It's a no-code web builder with a very similar interface to Figma, and you can actually just publish the website straight away. So it's really user intuitive, you can create some great animations, and I'm going to experiment with this brand guideline. People always ask me what's the best way to introduce web design services as a graphic designer. Best way I think to do this is by using Framer templates. So I'm going to quickly show you how to use them now. So by simply Googling Framer templates, you'll see they have lots and lots of templates to choose from. And more likely than not, the client that you're working with will most likely have a template on Framer that will be very suited to their business. Having a look at the templates here, I can already see that there is 18 different brand guidelines templates. So I'm tempted to use one of these when I'm creating my brand guidelines for Jude's brand, simply to speed things up and then I don't have to create it from start to finish. So to preview to see if you'd actually like these, all you simply have to do is click it, click preview, and then look at this. I just think the way this works, it's probably the future of brand guidelines. I can't imagine we're going to be using PDFs to create brand guidelines forever, especially when stuff like this really takes off. Now I know that there's a few websites that are already offering things like this, but I think by making it on Framer, it'll just make it fully customizable. And eventually I'd love to create my own brand guidelines template on Framer, and I'd also offer it to everybody who's watching this series as well. I think one of the main advantages of having this is that we can download the assets straight from the website. Now, normally you'd have to inform what fonts are being used and guide where to download them from, but when it's hosted on a website, you could actually download it straight from the website. So I genuinely think this is the future of brand guidelines for sure. Now, if you want to get 25% off on your first 3 months on Framer, then make sure to use the code JACK. I'll leave a link in the top line of the description.